Um, and shock horror, she's only back at that bloody house again. Restraining order be damned. And just as I wonder from the video whether this is going to be the worst ever home invasion or a terrible, terrible form of burglary, um, they decide instead to burn the fucker down. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Audiophiles. My name's John, his name is Andy. I'm just a poor boy, though my story is seldom told. I have squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles. Such are promises. More on that later. Perhaps not. But we have a track today selected by brother Andy. Andy, what have you got for us?
Without giving away any spoilers, what you just quoted is one of my all-time favorite songs. So that was,
Yeah,
yeah,
same here. Same
such a
here.
good song.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, really, it is. And that's something we didn't know we had in common, so that's cool. But yeah, as far as the track we're going to be listening to today, this is a band called the Belair Lip Bombs. And the track by them that I want you to check out is
The
called...
hits keep on coming.
Yes, exactly. I was just waiting for it. I tried to just bulldoze through that, but you weren't having it. But yes, the Belair Lip Bombs, and bomb is spelled like B-O-M-B, like the explosive. And the track by them is called Look the Part. So I assume none of this, the way you reacted to the band name alone, you have no past experience checking these guys out or hearing their material.
No.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Well, try and give this a go and enjoy it and come back and let me know if it's a success.
Will do. Yeah, really nice start. A classic sort of post-punky start with rhythm section laying down a really nice groove. And then you get that sort of guitar over the top that sounds a bit like it's got Tourette's. Wow, wow, every now and then. And then the singer comes in and she's got one of those lovely voices. It's got like a lovely balance of sneer and yawn. The sort of contempt and contempt, basically, I think. It's one of those ones where you listen to it and you're thinking you're getting everything, but actually, when pressed, you're not. And it's kind of like sliding the sounds across, and then they become clear for a bit, and then they don't. I guess it's like a speedway bike going around corners, drifting. It's kind of like, I'm gonna figure it out, and it just it's a bit. It's great. I like it. I really like the vibe. I like the sound of it. Yeah. Interesting. Sounds good though. Yeah, firmly sort of post-punk, which I love. So yeah. Guitar. That was funny. They actually put the pictograms and letters in to show the words of that first line. Um, I wouldn't have got it without it, definitely. Really nice guitar solo bit. It kind of reminded me when she was repeating stuff about going to your house and trying to figure it out and some of the stuff. Um, that when it transitioned to the guitar, it kind of reminded me of Dry Cleaning, first album, the way they used the guitar breaks on that as well. And kind of similar, not exactly the same tone, but the way it was delivered, I think, is really similar, which I really enjoyed as well. So yeah, sounding good. More guitar. It's a multi-track to the voice there, so it adds a little bit extra to it. And I'm seeing this verse was similar to the first verse, but there was a bit more guitar Tourette's outbursts going on in it, which is nice. And it went into the riff. I would be worried if I was the occupier of said house because it's the second time she's ambled around, and yeah, getting a bit worried now. Brian Ritchie aside from the Violent Femmes, yeah, little sort of bass solos are quite unusual. It just makes me immediately think of the 80s and Mark King, Level 42, and nobody wants that. Still making it. Interesting, yeah, I thought so. They actually um, went to the house in the video. She's back at the house again. What I'm thinking is this, like, the world's worst home invasion, really bad robbery. She checked out the shoes and the suit, and then they decided to burn the fucker down. Yeah, nice one. I enjoyed this. Had a really nice sort of post-punk feel about it. It's this lovely blend of all different sounds, and you can hear it in the bands that took from the bands before, as it were. So, as I say, a bit of Dry Cleaning there, a bit of Block Party, perhaps, and going back, that sort of guitar and bass sound, maybe a bit the sound. Banshees, perhaps, all sorts of other bands, of that sort of early 80s post-punk sound, which is delightful. So yeah, and they did enough to make it their own sort of sound. It wasn't a pastiche. So yeah, really enjoyable. So interesting to what the hell this is about, apart from, some really shitty. Oh, and sorry, I didn't make a note here as well. They also borrowed that Pulp Fiction bit of the glowing case, which is really hammy. Um, so yeah, apart from a really bad robbery stroke home invasion, I have to find out what this song's about. And to do that, let's go back, chop it up with Andy.
All right, so you have returned. So what was your experience like checking out "Look the Part" by the Belair Lip Bombs?
Well, I can confirm that that's a shit name. Anyway, so this song starts with that sort of well-trodden path, followed by many post-punk acolytes. Very simple but infectious groove put down by the drums and a quite a forward-thinking bass. Um, And over the top of this comes a sort of seemingly random guitar lick or two, possibly with a touch of Tourette's. I think they tend to lob these non sequiturs into the mix. Very pleasing. The vocalist appears, and her voice is delightfully opaque and full of both a sneer and yawn simultaneously. There's this lovely sort of disdain to it in a way, a bored disdain. It's not enough to be angry. They haven't got enough energy to be angry, but it's kind of. Anyway, I do really enjoy that tone, and it's one of those where you the clarity is fleeting. You kind of think you're getting everything that she's singing, but if then questioned later by the authorities, you realise it's only half the words at best. And you're probably going to spend the rest of the night in this. You're not getting out of that cell. Anyway, some lines are kind of on the straight, but others drift like a speedway bike going around a corner. So we get this pairing. This sounds a bit to me like, and on a test, summer for I can if I was to figure it out, and you can get that last bit really clear, and it goes on like that in the same fashion for a couple of laps round the track, where you catch the odd word that keeps you, listening. But mostly it's just vowels sliding across the dirt track. And the rhythm section continued to provide a suitable groove to this action. So it all sounds great. And then she sings, I Went to Your House. Back comes the guitar, um, whose ticks sort of coalesce into a splendid post punk riff, which have enough angles and space to sort of really, between the notes, to really get under your skin. The singer repeats "I Can't Help Myself" a few times, and the guitar then blossoms into a mini solo. Um, Very mini, but it's great. I love it. It's quite simple, but it just this is what you should do in these situations: is keep it simple and keep it
Yeah.
effective, and that's exactly what he did. Um, Back to the verse. It sounds pretty similar, and hopefully we get some letters and pictures to populate the first line. And the only one stays another, which is fantastic. Although, as a sentence, it's meaningless. But anyway, I'm still enjoying it. So onwards and onwards, as I say. Um, this verse musically has the guitar with more staggered twittering, and then the return of that riff as she then goes, "I went to your house again." Um, this time with like double tracked vocals to give it a bit more oomph. I'm starting to worry about the occupant of this house. He may be in danger. Um, After trying to figure it out for a number of lines, um, she keeps saying about trying to figure it out. We kind of dismount this verse with a quick break. This time they pass the baton of specialness to the bass player.
Mm.
Imagine. I guess is the kind of diversity, equity, and inclusion that the current administration of the country is trying to eradicate, and rightly so. Uh, it does sound good, all teasing aside, but Brian Ritchie and Violent Femmes aside, most bass solos make me think of the 80s and of Mark King, Level 42. Let's not dwell on those dark times. It does milk it though as well, but the bass um, effort is punctuated by a guitar chord and then some drums. and it goes to bang a couple of times, and hopefully some Picasso-esque chalk drawing outlines, just in case we didn't notice all this noise, just to help us line it all up. Yeah, as I say, he milks it for a few more bars more, and then the guitar comes back galloping into the fray. And shock horror, she's only back at that bloody house again. Restraining order be damned. And just as I wonder from the video whether this is going to be the worst ever home invasion or a terrible, terrible form of burglary, they decide instead to burn the fucker down. So yeah, interesting. The song builds with more vocal tracks as well, and it's all getting really sort of busy and climactic, as you'd expect, until that final ringing chord. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. It has lots of nods back to older bands, and I think it has nods back to the bands that nod back to the bands that I know, kind of thing I grew up with. So yeah, via the acts in between. So little pieces of like Block Party, the guitar, particularly from Dry Cleaning's first album, which isn't that long ago, but that definitely harkens back to a time. And all of this relates back into that early 80s post-punk, which is great stuff. Um, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. And if this is indicative of the sound, I'd be very happy to listen to some more of it.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. I thought you'd like it, and yes, it does have nods to obviously some genres that I know that you are a big fan of. So that is one of the reasons, or one of the main reasons, that I chose to bring them to the channel. Yeah, they're a really talented young band. They are an Australian indie rock band formed in Frankston, Victoria, in 2017. The group consists of lead vocalist, guitarist, and keyboardist Macy Everett, as well as guitarist Mike Bradvika, bassist Jimmy Drofton, and drummer Daniel Devlin. They have released 2 extended plays and issued their debut studio album Lush Life in August of 2023, on which this track Look the Part is featured. All 4 members of the band have played music since a young age and met in high school. The band is named after a set of skateboard wheels from the 1980s. They released their self-titled debut extended play in 2018 and a second titled Songs to Do Your Laundry To in May of 2019. Lead vocalist Macy Everett used to play bass guitar in Melbourne punk outfit called Clam, with 2 M's, before departing at the start of 2023 to focus solely on the Belair lip balms. The group released their debut studio album, Lush Life, again, as I mentioned earlier, in August 23 via the Melbourne-based independent label Cousin Will Records. Writing for NME, Doug Wallen called it a genre-defying record with elements of punk, post-punk, jangle pop, and new wave, and would go on to score the album a 4 out of 5 stars. So yeah, as Wallen discusses there in his that little snippet that I picked out, a lot of genres, subgenres that John and I are a big fan of. So it's kind of obvious how they ended up here on the channel. The Belair Lip Balms played at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas in March of 2024. And in August, they became the first Australian act to sign to the Nashville-based label Third Man Records, who issued a re-release of that album, Lush Life. In November of 2024, they were nominated for Unearthed Artist of the Year at the 2024 J Awards. They were also nominated for 2 Music Victoria Awards that year, one for Album of the Year and one for Best Rock/Punk Work. While they didn't win the former, they did secure the award for the latter. Speaking for on the band's influences, Everett said, "There's not that one band or one era of music that we all like and really connect over, and that they were never striving to fit into a specific sound." She writes most of their songs, and the other members flesh out the music during rehearsals. Writing for The Guardian, Shad D'Souza described Everett's vocals on Lush Life as having a lush, swaggering tone, delivering head-rush romantic narratives that match the frenetic pace and intensity of the songs themselves. He would also write, "Lush Life is the kind of punchy, hook-laden record that hardly gets made anymore. Straightforward in sound, but borderline unassailable in its construction. Principal songwriter Macy Everett, formerly of the garage rock trio Clam, has a singular knack for writing earworm hooks. Lush Life's first 10 minutes alone contain some of the most catchy choruses of the past year. Their melodic directness and the song's clean, loud production strongly recalling the Strokes circa Room on Fire. Christopher Anthony of the online publication The Fire Note gave the album 4 out of 5 and said this of their sound. Listeners might draw comparisons to other Australian indie acts like the Rolling Blackout Coastal Fever and Floodlights we listened to recently. The album's spirited delivery and guitar-driven sound also evoke bands such as The Beths, Alves, and Porridge Radio. Macy Everett's vocal presence carries shades of Debbie Harry, blending the band's indie pop charm with elements of pop, new wave, and punk. And he described the album by saying it blends indie rock foundations with dynamic instrumentation, incorporating melodic guitar lines, lively percussion, and intricate harmonies. It balances bright, upbeat rhythms with reflective passages and features occasional post-punk guitar flourishes. Piano and trumpet make subtle appearances, adding texture. While some tracks carry lo-fi charm, the production is crisp and focused, allowing both delicate melodies and vigorous moments to shine. And Laura Snapes of channel favorite Pitchfork scored the album 7.8 out of 10 and wrote, "This is indie rock made to hit right in the pleasure center. Built from a sturdy record collection, television, tessellations, breeder's coal, strokes clean, casual virtuosity a la Pavement, but also possessed of breeziness that belies any clenched study." And of this track, she would write, it builds tension through purposefully ugly guitar stabs and the rising feeling in Everett's voice as she tries to make sense of an inscrutable situation. These moments where they hold back give the exhilarating and unbridled songs a dam-breaking power. And finally, over at New Noise magazine, Jason West reviewed the album, gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and wrote, "Lush Life is a near perfect indie rock album that will have fans singing along for years to come. Each song tells a tale of having an imperfect life, yet always striving to something better." So, let's jump into these lyrics. "And the only one takes another. I could barely find the words to figure it out. And the only one takes another. I could barely feel the dirt that covers the ground. Every day that you're waiting for me, every day it's the same funny game. Every day that you blame, I remain. Every day it's the same and again. So I went to your house. I went somewhere else. I went to your house. I went somewhere else. I can't help myself. I can't save myself. I can't help myself. And the only one takes another hit. And the only one stays another. I could barely find the words. I'm shading myself. 'Cause you only want to change your cover. And I live because you won't turn out. Every day that I'm wasting away, every day that I'm fading away, every day I complain. So I went to your house. I went. I want to figure it. I went somewhere else. I went to your house. I went. I want to figure it out. I went somewhere else. I went to your house. I went. I want to figure it out. I went somewhere else. I went to your house. I went. I want to figure it out. I went somewhere else. And the other takes another. I could barely. I'm checking myself. Had enough now. I'm changing covers. And the whistleblower wheels will drag me out. I want to look the part. I want to feel a change. I want to feel a shake. Enjoy the flame. I want to cut the brakes. I want to love the way. I want to leave. Someone just take me. Oh, I went to your house. I bet I'll find somebody else. I went to your house. I went. I'll find somebody else. I went to your house. I went. I'll find somebody else. I went to your house. I went. I went over. Somebody said, I went to your house. I went somewhere else. Oh, for somebody else. I went to your house. I went somewhere else. Oh, I'm checking myself. I went to your house. I went somewhere else for somebody else. I went to your house. I went somewhere else. I'm checking myself. So the track explores the complexities of a relationship, particularly a situationship, where the true nature and depth of the connection are unclear. It's about trying to understand and make sense of a relationship that feels uncertain and possibly insincere. And the song uses an upbeat, almost musical arrangement that contrasts with the darker, more introspective lyrics. This creates a dissonance that makes the song both catchy and thought provoking. The lyrics delve into the feeling of being unsure of how to navigate a relationship where the other person isn't clearly defined or committed. So yeah, Derek Lee of online publication Blurred Culture wrote the following about this track. One track that stood out to me, both live and in their recorded material, is Look the Part. It's a song that feels almost paradoxical in nature, seamlessly blending catchy, upbeat hooks with lyrics that bite with a darker, moodier edge. The playfulness of the arrangement creates a dissonance with the introspective nature of the words, making it one of those tracks you can both nod your head to and get lost in thought over. It's a trick not every band can pull off, creating music that simultaneously invites the listener to dance and brood. This duality is the magic of the Belair lip balms. They deliver musical candy with a bitter center, and it's absolutely captivating. And I thought that quote was a really good way to sum up the track. I'm sorry, John, go on.
No, just to say my sort of impression on one listen and one run through the lyrics from you. Um, there was a lot of repetition in there, which I will get. And the whole thing about I went to a house, I went somewhere else. For me, it kind of seemed to me that it was the instability on unsuredness of the narrator. Um, and it may even be the subject is gloriously unaware of all this turmoil, and maybe even unaware of the person that is they've decided to be. It could be even a completely a one-way street
Yeah,
in terms of relationship. It just seems quite unstable.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
whether that's because of what's gone on, I don't know, or it could be just you know. But yeah, it's
yeah.
interesting.
It is interesting, and even that whole outro, like, I went to your house, I went somewhere else. Oh, for somebody else. I went to your house, I went somewhere else. Oh, I'm checking myself. All of that as it continues could be completely within the confines of your the narrator's head. Like, oh yeah, in my head I went like I'd love to go there, but nah, maybe I should go somewhere else and ignore you for a while and see how that pays off. Or now I'm checking myself. Like, am I really sure of what I'm feeling and what the best plan is? And so, yeah, it's just it seems like it's a lot of insecurity in how these words are delivered and they're constructed, which is a really interesting, vulnerable look at the narrator, in this case, Miss Macy. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty clever how it was all kind of constructed and made to look that you can infer that much just from these rather broad statements and terms. You can kind of cobble together the mental and emotional state of the narrator. Really interesting stuff. So,
Mm, yeah.
man, I'm really glad you liked it. I'm even glad that you caught on to that kind of nuance to how she penned the lyrics, that you might walk away with sort of the same assumption that I did, and perhaps some of these writers did as well. So yeah, really cool band. There's definitely
Mm.
some other tracks on this debut full length of theirs that I think would be worth checking out. So maybe I'll bring them in the not so distant future to the channel so we can continue to give these guys a little time in the light, because they are a really talented young band. I look forward to hearing more.
Yeah, yeah. I look forward to hearing some more of that stuff as well.
Great, great, great. Well, guys out there in the listening audience, let us know what you thought of this track, Look the Part. by the Belair lip balms. If you've heard any other kind of similarities to previous bands or genres that we touched on, please, whatever your feelings are, feel free to drop them down in the comments field below. Also, please like, share, and subscribe if you would be so inclined. We really do appreciate it. And hopefully, John and I will catch all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.